Are you ready for a big show? Come on! I want to keep the energy up. This is a fresh insight into thinking differently, to be brave and stand out for all the right reasons. Our next artist is known for his polished education, knowledge, and of course, amazing good looks. I think he wrote this. No. He also has one of the best names in the biz. It's Mr. Dario Cotroneo, the owner of DCI Education. Give it up for Dario!
Very nice. Thank you very much. It's good. All right, how's everyone? What an energy. It's amazing. All right, so it's a pleasure to be here. This afternoon for me, first of all, I'm going to talk about some quite personal things that have moved me and changed me, particularly this year. And they're very heartful and meaningful to me. I think a lot of times we can all focus on hairdressing, but really the emotion drives behavior, and the emotion behind what we do drives us forward and to get out of bed every morning and really put in all the hours that we do. So just to give you some background, in the last 12 months, this is what we've done. So we've done 225 face-to-face workshops. I've personally traveled, and only grateful for my frequent fly points. my wife is, actually, I should say, not me, because she's the one that uses them. So we've traveled about 155,000 kilometers for hairdressing, which I love. We've inspired and changed the lives of 2,200 hairdressers. And for me, that means a lot. For me, what motivates me personally is paying it forward and really helping people believe in themselves and, most importantly, inspiring them. What we've just launched last week, we've launched our new video library. So we've got about 1,300 minutes of total video step-by-step content, 66 videos, and we've packaged it at $220 per year. And we've really done that again as paying it forward. There's some amazing step-by-steps in this to help beginners, to help intermediates, and to help those really that perhaps can't travel to a venue or education. And that's really designed for people in mobile learning. So the idea behind this is, watch it anywhere, anytime. So this is, you can probably hear my voice is slightly changing because the next part is a very personal story to me. On the 2nd of February this year, my neighbor passed away, and I was the person that found his body, and I had to perform CPR on my neighbor. And I performed CPR, and I mean, has anyone ever called 000? It's amazing. It's amazing in terms of how supportive they are. And I performed CPR on Michael for about 10 minutes, but unfortunately, he passed away, and it touched me incredibly. And this is the first time I've ever spoken about it publicly, and my wife was very concerned that I'd want to talk about it personally. But I think for me, it's about, if I can touch people, I think when we go back to work, why are we going to work? Because we care about people. And I think sometimes we forget about why we do what we do. We focused on being a great hairdresser, but the emotion part for me is really what anchors into motivating you to go to another level. So what Michael taught me was about being selfless. He never asked. He never told me who he was. For 15 years, we lived next door to each other. He has 200 pieces of artworks in his house. I personally had a key to his house because he traveled a lot. 86 years old, traveled more than me. Yeah, he was a bit of a Hugh Hefner, but I once caught a lady going to his apartment, and I said, "Oh, you're his daughter," and he goes, "No," and I went, "Oops." And so what Michael taught me, and I learned a lot at his funeral, as one does, which is unfortunate, right? And there's a story behind this, is that he never spoke about who he was or who he knew. And when he passed away, the night that he passed away, it was the first time I actually looked at artwork on his wall. And it was a piece of art, and this guy had millions of dollars worth of art, which I didn't realize. I just thought it was garbage because it was too much. I'm a minimalist. So you walk into his house, and it's just wall to wall. Even the bathroom had statues in it. The laundry, when I opened up, because he asked me always to check on his apartment. And I love my neighbors. I have the best neighbors. And the night that Michael passed away was the first time I actually saw a piece of art. And the piece of art that I actually saw was a guy, does anyone know the Archibald painting? Yeah, Michael's been painted many times himself. Brett Whiteley actually stayed at Michael's house many times. He supported Brett Whiteley throughout his career. I found this out at his funeral. He didn't tell me this. And I think sometimes what we find as hairdressers, we're so busy talking about ourselves. We're so busy talking about what we're doing, but we're not hearing people. We're not listening to our clients. We're not getting to know our clients. And it's really changed me in terms of the way I think about the relationships we have. But the anchor of it, Michael taught me humility. again at his funeral, all the things that he had done in his life really changed the way I think. So my main thing for this purpose of introducing this to your thought process is to really challenge you and study your clients. We have an iPad with over about 10,000 photos for the last so many years of our guests. And one of the challenges that I gave my team at the start of the year after this happened to me was to study all the people that we look after. We have albums for every single guest, every single haircut's on there. And to study, who are they? Why do they come to us? And what can we offer them? And I think so many times we're just talking about ourselves, but we don't know who they are. And I challenge you, if you get to know them, then they'll get you more. They'll understand you more. And I think sometimes we're trying to be understood. And that was my learnings, and I just wanted to start the presentation off to change your thinking. Okay, so that leads me on to empathy. And I don't really need to read that out because I think you all can understand it. So the four elements of empathy for us is really how we see the world, or how others see the world. It's really not about us. Appreciating us as human beings, not judgment. Understanding feelings, and ultimately, in terms of communication, really communicating in a very understanding, empathetic way. Because we do have people that come in we find very challenging. It's just we don't get them. And I find it's really interesting. I had I sacked a client 4 or 5 years ago in my salon. I'm quite ruthless when someone is quite rude to my team. I do it really well now. I've learned over the years how to do it well. That's how it works. And so for us, this lady June rang up recently, probably in December, and she's got an English accent. She rang up and she's like, "Hello, Dario, it's June." And when I said, "Hi, June, how are you?" the whole salon stopped, because that's how bad June was in the salon. And when June came in, she said, "Would you have me back?" And I said, "Of course I would." And again, the salon stopped. And I said, we booked her in, and she came in. And in the time that she came in, made that appointment and came in, I did an autopsy on why we really got to that point with her 4 or 5 years ago. And the day she came in, I sat down with her and I apologized to her. I apologized because I was listening to my team complain about June, but I wasn't listening to June. And I think sometimes we get caught up in our bubble and we think there's a wall between us and them. And what changed my relationship, when I apologized to June, she started crying and she said, "Why are you apologizing?" And I said, "Well, as a leader, and I really wasn't in the salon much when you were around, but the girl that was doing your hair was more into her than she was into you, and that's why there was conflict." And it's amazing how we can turn around a relationship. It's just about the perception. And again, it's about longevity. So this is what I've put up. As when our guest comes in, she's already full. That's her headspace, what she's seeing, what she's hearing, and what's in her head. And for me, really, it's about looking at the triggers on how we can change behavior. I'm motivated by how we can change behavior because really that drives, and really getting to know the person, so we drive the emotional connection with them. So really we go through, for me, it's you, me, and we is how I see our relationships. I see my guests not as my friends. I see my guests as part of my family. Now, you can like some of your family. You can not like some of your family some days. You can love your family one day. You can maybe want to ignore a call the next day. Depends on your headspace. But I see my guests as part of my family. And same with our community that we teach. I love our community. I love seeing people do really well. So for me, these are the tips. Self-love, bring your empathy. This is a really big one. Your intention drives your attention. And if you don't have the right intention when you start your day, then your guest is going to drive where your attention should be. And that shouldn't be, that really pushes you away from being creative. Listening and getting a good sense of who she is, solving a meaningful problem. And I'll show you our consultation snippet in a second. I mean, these are all in sound bites because we have a limited time. And really for us, coexist with your guests. And my challenge to you this afternoon is really thinking about how you can better empathize with your guests. And if we do that well, we'll retain. If we retain, we grow. We can weather bad times. We can weather hard times in our business if we have empathy. And I think sometimes we just focus on, I've been through my 20s in hairdressing. It wasn't a great era for me, I call it an ego era. Where it's all about proving to how great you are, and those that love you really don't need to prove to. They accept you for whatever misfits, problems you have. And so this goes down a direction. So we have an old way or a new way to think, right? So my challenge is, and again, this is about challenging the status quo. This is about challenging. I love helping hairdressers think differently, be differently, and ultimately be themselves. So you're either living in the past or you're planning for the future. So for me, you're either a fixed mindset person or you're a growth mindset person. That's a whole seminar. Actually, it could be a week if you're fixed or growth. But generally when you're having, people coming around you that are quite challenging, they're quite fixed. And you really can't help a fixed person because they're going to help themselves. However, you can challenge them. I love challenging. I love difficult people when you empathize. Because if you heart talk to people, you open up a world of possibilities. But if you head talk to people, that's our ego. And that moves nothing other than trim. And so for us, in terms of, I partner with, so my suggestion is really if you're finding yourself fixed, is to partner with people that can help you achieve a new way of thinking. I mean, we are who are around, right? So our community is all about like-minded people that want to share and give and want to grow. And so again, another challenge and proposition is what is new about what you're doing currently that's helping you stand out from the rest? And this is our way. And this is a different way of thinking. We don't use the mirror anymore in the salon, a back mirror. What we use is the iPad. We take a photo three-dimensionally before we start because it's like an untagged photo. If you take a photo from the front, photo from the side, and a photo from the from the back, we put the iPad in her lap and we ask her a simple question. What would you like me to improve? And that is the untagged photo. And we encourage her to scroll because that is the world that I'm facing, the reality of what we've got. It's not the photo in her pocket, that's retouched, filtered, and all of that. But do you know how we start an appointment? We start an appointment saying, hey, Mary, it's been 11 weeks. How have you been? Mary was about to bitch about her color because Mary thought she was here about 6 weeks ago or less. So we talk about invisible problems. We make them visible before they become a problem. We empathize with people. We give them solutions. We make them feel they're in a place of trust because that's experience. And you can't get that feeling without experience. So I love this, right? I saw this recently. A clever person solves a problem. A wise person avoids it. Yeah, so when I have Fruit Loop call on the phone, I love answering the phone in my salon, by the way. Occasionally you'll get a person that's just not meant for you. And the universe throws you these, right? And it's up to us to say, hey, you're a challenge, and there is a challenge, and there's spectrum. And so for us, if you want to go for spectrum, that's the universe going to teach you a lesson that perhaps we just got to get out of the way. And I really want to challenge you because we do see challenge, but she's going to come back 4 times in the next week. Yeah? And we could have seen that challenge. We could have heard that challenge. We could be more present with that challenge. So I challenge everyone in this room because this is the best of the industry. This is the top 1%. So for us, it's about being wise to avoid it. So when I have a guest that is challenging, this is how I get rid of a guest. It could be in my salon. I interview guests before I do their hair. Yeah? Because it's a relationship. I don't do it for money. Yeah? And I'll say to them at the end of the appointment, if we don't connect, I'll simply say, hey, you're asking for this, right? Sounds amazing. She goes, yeah. And she's wagging her tail. I'll say, great. I said, that's outside my lane and my experience level. But I know the best person for you. Yeah? Watch her get upset, especially if she's European, right? So you kind of count down to 10 and then it's like the hard drive catches up. And so for us, I then, because I have a stick and carrot approach, but I also love, you've got to pour honey over vinegar. Yeah? So it's mindset. It's absolute mindset. And when she gets angry, I lean forward and say, hey, I'm just trying to save you money. I don't want you to pay for things twice. So I'm going to write down the hairdresser that I'm going to recommend you to because that's his lane. And I'm being genuine. Got it? So I'd rather give it to the right person than have a wrong experience because it's like speed dating, right? So they tell me. I haven't done it for a long time. Anyway, so this leads me to purpose. Without purpose, why are we doing it? This is my purpose right now. And this is why I get up. Now, after Michael's passing, exactly 4 weeks later, and look, my condolences, I have to shout out to Dennis about Tony. And I really, there are people in our lives that come into our life at different parts of our life that really make an impact. And in hairdressing, we're a family, we're a tribe. And we're all here we're not here for money, we're here for the lifestyle that hairdressing brings you. It's an amazing job to connect people. When you talk to an Uber driver, yeah? He's not doing it for the money, he's doing it to connect to people. I love it. So when my beautiful friend, Gino Fasano, passed away exactly 4 weeks after Michael, and I was devastated again, because it's through loss that one gains in terms of the value of life. When Gino passed, I teach Gino salon portfolio hair. Those people have this Gino staff every day are dealing with people that two clients a day are coming in that don't know he's passed. Yeah? So every day at least 2 clients are coming in and crying to that team. And what that team taught me, I asked them, how are you dealing with this mentally? And they said, well, we come in early and we get our head right. If you don't get your head right, how are you supposed to deal with people on many different levels? So my challenge again to everyone in the room is that, go do a ritual, go to have a coffee in the morning, get your head right, study your day, understand who's coming in, prepare for them mentally. So when they come in, you're anchored and they can feel the level of empathy and care, and then your whole experience will change and you will own your day. But it takes work. What I'm proud to announce this afternoon, and this is the first time, I rang after Gino passed, after 4 days, I rang Gino's 2 business partners. And I said, I've got a really good idea that I'm passionate about. I'd like to devote a scholarship program under Gino's name. Because Gino evokes all the qualities that I loved about being a hairdresser. Gino was hardworking, he was inspiring, he was never ever had a bad word to say about anyone. But he was a great, great role model. So what we're going to be offering as of next year, for those that are colleges and schools, this will go out in about a month and a half's time. We're going to give one lucky kid per year free education up to $2,500 to join our Elevate program. And that's a passion project for me. That's my purpose now. And I rang David Manor from the Journal. He's going to be in the advisory panel, the 2 partners. And at AHFAs, they kindly asked, would Gino's son be on the panel as well? And I said, absolutely. So we're going to put out in about a month and a half's time the criteria for this. And we need to strongly encourage our community that if there's someone that can't afford education in hairdressing but has the drive, has the determination to be something great, please point him our way. And we pick one lucky person per state to join our Elevate program for the whole year next year. And this will be ongoing. And Anthony called me, which is Anthony Apari, that's the business partner at Gino. He said, well, what can we contribute to this? And I said, nothing. It's me. It's paying it forward. I loved Gino. And what I'm trying to get to is if we go after things for money, it's short term. This is about energizing you. And my challenge to you, it's all about having a sense of purpose. And for me, why I teach, what's on screen is what we call our DCI butterfly effect. The main essence behind our teaching is to give hairdressers a butterfly effect, which is designed to inspire hairdressers to fly with confidence. That is my purpose. I love seeing hairdressers in the room, some of the speakers up here today, fly. Because it's that flight, that dopamine moment when you see people on stage just living a sense of why they got into hairdressing and they're living it. And so for us, we do this through our DCI in salon, we do our DCI courses, and we have our beautiful mentor program, which is in our 8th year, which is amazing. And we launched this year our Elevate program, which is more classic. Mentors for inspiration and for seniors. So my challenge, the 3 elements of my chat that really I wanted to anchor in is humanity, empathy, and purpose. And I think those 3 combined will give you a great, fulfilling career. It'll be more meaningful for you. And when you get a challenge in your salon, if you have a greater sense of purpose, it's not really a challenge because you know why you're there. Yeah? So my challenge to all of you is, what is your purpose and who are you inspiring? Everyone happy?
Woohoo! Beautiful.
How quick did 15 minutes go? And last night, I edited out 20 slides. My wife said, are you serious? How long's the talk? So guys, look, I just wanted to say thank you. The energy today has been amazing. Linda, wherever you are, you're a gun. I think it's an amazing opportunity to do this, and I think Queensland does it better than anyone else. And I want to thank you for the privilege. Thank you very much.
Beautiful, Dario.
Thank you, Dario.
Thank you.
What a man.
Thank you.